introduce our guest speaker for the evening. He is, I don't know, the tour guides in Israel that I have met. He is probably up there with the, you had him as a tour guide? Mira, do you want to say something about Mira? Please stand up. Where did you see him?
Nobody, please.
Where did he tour you?
My mom's house. How many people here did I tour in the old city? 2. Wow. Okay, I'm a rural guy. Okay.
Wait, was it good? Was it good?
Incredible.
It was incredible. So we're not touring the old city. We're bringing the old city to Gibeah, Washington. And so we've decided to bring one of the most passionate tour guides in Israel, because it's not something that he does as a job. It's something that he lives, breathes, and sleeps. I have to tell you, this year, if you're not from Southern Hemisphere and you're from Northern Hemisphere, do you remember we were on Masada? Anybody remember that?
Yeah.
That place, remember? Well, Eytan happened to be there the same day. And when he heard that we were there, he was so unbelievably inspired that he wanted to give us a powerful message. He didn't care that if we were paying him, hiring him. He's just like, I need to meet the Jewish people and give them powerful, strong messages. And I really, really respect that he lives his life with this purpose of shlichut, depending on if you're from our Chabad part or our Israeli part, this shlichut to give out unbelievable messages of Am Yisrael and Eretz Yisrael. Thank you, Eytan. He came in and reset up the whole room and put a projector.
Whatever, it's all done.
Eytan, you want me to turn off these lights?
What's important, okay, first of all, Eytan, what's important is that everybody see these things. Because I'm going to be talking now, narrating over something, you're going to see about 180 pictures flying over the screen back. So it's actually important you guys see it, okay? If you guys all see that, it's a lot more important than I am. We're good? I'm going to move around here and there. I have to apologize. Number one, okay, you guys all have a flex, correct?
Oh yeah.
You guys all have a cool flex. I mean, I can juggle like in this, I don't know what. I broke my leg 3 times, I don't know what. I didn't, but whatever, okay? So here's my cool flex, do not laugh. I have the 13th smallest brain ever discovered in the Northern Hemisphere. Okay? Don't laugh, your brain might be smaller, they just haven't figured it out yet. Now, why am I saying this? How much what? I don't know. Really, I got injured in a terror attack a few years ago. I got a terror attack, and the doctors were all in shock. I was bleeding. I had to do the CT scan, and all the doctors were in shock of what tiny brain I have. Like legit, they were calling each other. Like my wife's crying in the hospital, I'm full of blood, and all the doctors were laughing at what a tiny brain I have. Like, it's a funny thing. Wait, it gets worse. In my tiny brain, 3 years ago, I discovered a massive brain tumor. Massive. It was 12 times bigger than the average brain tumor. Put it mildly. Doctor sat there with my wife crying. The doctor asked me, "Are you married?" I'm like, "Yeah." "Do you have kids?" I'm like, "Yeah, I have 4 girls." He's like, "You should write a will." Like doctors can be super, you know, direct. I mean, and whatever. Bottom line, it was very, very uneasy 40 days of my life. Why is that important? Thank God I'm a walking miracle. 2 bad things happened. One, I became deaf on my right ear. Like if you talk to me, I can't hear you. I can see your lips moving. I can't hear you. I can hear you. I mean, I barely. By the way, if somebody talks, because I don't have 2 ears, I don't know who's talking. Like if you're talking, it sounds the same to me. We're good. So if you talk, just like raise your hand, so I'll know sort of who's talking. Number 1. Number 2, I can't feel the right side of my mouth. I'm gonna try talking at you ever hear a WhatsApp message in like triple speed?
Yeah.
Like if I'm gonna talk nice and slowly, you guys all fall asleep within 12 minutes, which I really don't want to happen, so I'm gonna talk really fast. Imagine you can't feel the right side of your mouth because after my brain surgery, you can't tell I have a scarf from keep it onto my neck. After my brain surgery, I can't feel the right side of my mouth. Imagine you just had a wisdom tooth pulled and you try talking really fast. You guys understand the problem, right? Okay, so I'm gonna try. Okay, if I'm really unclear, like yell to me, "Hey, slow down," and I'll slow down for like a minute. Okay, we're good? Sababa. In the old city in 1948, we had a really big battle. I don't wanna belittle this operation we're having in Gaza today. Okay, I literally got a reserve deal on Thursday, and I've lost friends. Okay, I'm not belittling it. I literally, my 8-year-old daughter, who's in 3rd grade, has to go sit shiva because she lost her teacher. You know, Flashman got killed. And I'm just saying, it's not easy, I'm not belittling it. Okay? But with all due respect, we weren't with our backs to the wall in this war now in Gaza. Correct? We're not with our backs to the wall. Like, if we really need, we're not an essential threat. They didn't open all the things, give everybody guns, go kill Arabs. I mean, it didn't happen yet. Okay, we're not there yet. There were battles where we were with our back to the wall, where we really were outnumbered 1 to 20, where we really did not have strength, where really, you give it all you got, because you're with your back to the wall. Sometimes when you're with your back to the wall, you discover different things that you don't normally see. Okay? That's what I want to talk. I want to talk about one of those battles, and I think that it can teach us a bunch of things. We're good? Okay? So remember, these things are a lot more important than me. Sorry for starting with a little stand-up comedy, but we'll live. It'll get serious as we go along, okay? You guys have all been to the Jewish Quarter, correct? Yes, you walk around these gorgeous alleyways looking like taken out of an art gallery or something, puff, a tour guide stands there. He could be better looking, he could be less good looking, he could be funnier, he could be less funny. The one thing most tour guides do when they were in the old city, they pull out a timetable. You guys remember this little thing? You look at this thing and you're like, oh my god, right? It's got anywhere from like Tanakh to like Crusaders, and like you're like, oh my god, I gotta fall asleep. And you're like, dude, this is like boring beyond belief. I don't want to talk about 4,000 years Jewish history. I want to talk about what happened in Israel in 10 days. You guys see what happened here in 1948? With the first 10 days, literally 2 weeks, that Israel was established. From May 14th to May 28th, there was a battle in the old city where we walk around getting pizza, shawarma, and meeting our cute boyfriends from Eytan. We had a insane battle. Please don't make me laugh, because I'm going to laugh too. We had a really insane battle that would make other battles look like a joke. Let me compare this for a minute to 2014. 2014, we were the last operation in Gaza. Before this one, obviously, how do you say, presentation thing before. Okay, I'll have to renew it, I know, okay? 2014, we had a big operation called Protective Edge. You guys are familiar with Protective Edge? You guys were like 12 years old, or I don't know how old you were, 10 years ago. So you were 8 years old. We had a really big operation. It was absolutely enormous. We flattened down half of Gaza, blah, blah, blah. You guys ready? How many soldiers did we have there? How big is it? How many soldiers got killed? What's the size? How many days was it? Okay, the Gaza Strip is 365 square kilometers. Easy number to remember. How big is the Jewish quarter? It's a ninth of one. So if you look carefully, you can see the Jewish quarter over there. You guys see it or not? That's a Jewish quarter. I can fit the Jewish quarter in the Gaza Strip 4,000 times, 4,650 times, and I change around the corners. Okay, how many soldiers did I have there? How many days was it? It was 50 days. The Battle of the Jewish Quarter was 10 days, 1/5 the time. How many soldiers did I have there? In the Jewish Quarter, 1948, I had 166 guys. Protective Edge, I had over 40,000. So do the numbers any way you don't want to look at it. In 1/1,000th number, the magnitude, size, number of soldiers, you name it. How many soldiers did I get killed? 68 in the Jewish Quarter in 1948 and 68 in Protective Edge. Remember, it's an area that's 1,000 times more. Can I compare this for a second to this operation we have now in Gaza? You got it, by all means, it's pretty insane what's going on in Gaza today, right? You know how many days it took us, the IDF, to get 68 soldiers without October 8th? Like the actual ground operation? It took 70 days almost. Sorry, 45 days. 45 days of this is 10 days. You guys understand, this is like, sorry, extract. You know what's going on now, like, insane. What happened in the same Jewish quarter that you guys have seen 50,000 times was an insane battle. Now, 1948 battle did not start in one little thing. Poof, the Jewish state is born. It took like a while. You guys ready? The UN came up with a great idea. Let's make a Jewish state, Arab state, one year or another. Sorry about the whatever. The brownish, mustardy color was the Arab state. The bluish or greenish was a Jewish state. Every single one of your great-grandparents was dancing that day. You guys know how they used to dance? With an accordion. They had Bluetooth things that were, hey, you know, like that. They were dancing around. Every single, and the newspapers the following day looked like this. You guys read Hebrew or no? No. You guys read Hebrew? You can read Hebrew. What does it say? The Jewish state has risen in past tense. Read the fine print. It says, the UN did establish in a few months, British will leave, and then you'll declare independence. They're counting their chickens well before they hatch. You guys read Arabic?
No.
Nobody reads Arabic?
I do.
You read Arabic? Okay, beautiful, okay? So I pulled out a cartoon, I pulled out newspapers in Arabic. None of you guys can read anything besides the Palestine, I know. So hang on, you guys know what you could read. You could read cartoons. Okay, I pulled out cartoons. What does the Arabic down here say?
That's the Jews.
No, this is the Dalet. This is the Dal. Al-Dawla. Waw, Lamed, and Tamarbuta, okay? Bottom line, Al-Dawlat al-Yudiyah. The Jewish state. You guys see a little Jewish people, hey, let me declare independence, right? What's it trying to say? Meet you around the corner. Even if you can't read Arabic, you can read this. What does it say? Like, what does this say up there? Come on, you be quiet. What does it say over there? What is this down here? Very good, Lebanon. Okay, what does this say? Sudan, Masar, Urdun, Jordan. You guys get the shtick, right? We don't want there to be a Jewish state. And guess what happens the following day? Balagan breaks out. Where? In Manila. You guys have been to Mamilla before, yes or no?
Yeah.
Okay, if this is the old city, this red line, this red strip is where Mamilla is. Today, a beautiful chic street where you buy overpriced sweaters and overpriced jeans. Correct? Okay? Or like, I don't know, what's it called? Ice cream for like 50 shekel, okay? Guess what happened? 1948, this is what it looks like. Okay, thousands of Arabs come out, they're yelling, from the river to the sea, Palestine will be free. It rhymes in Arabic too. It rhymes in Arabic. And guess what happened? It is very, very rare. It is very rare demonstrations can become violent in the Arab world. But sometimes they become violent. They go home, they bring their baseball bats and their crowbars. And what do after waving crowbars around? What happens? 2 minutes later, what do? They bash all the Jewish shops. Now this picture is annoying. I want you to look at it carefully. In every single one of the Arabs looting, pictures of the Arabs looting, if you zoom in carefully, what would you find? British soldiers that are standing there doing absolutely nothing. You guys see it? They're sitting there. You know why? By the way, every single picture, you can see this. You look at every little picture of Arabs looting and you zoom in. What are you going to find? You're going to find the British guys are sitting there doing absolutely nothing. Why? This British soldier is leaving Israel in 4 months. He's getting on a boat. He's going back to his girlfriend in London. Correct? Could he care about what's going on?
No.
Not really. Let the Jews and the Arabs fight. I don't want to get involved. The following afternoon, the middle looks like this. They're taking all the stuff out and they're burning everything. That afternoon looks like this. And the next morning, it looks like this. You guys know Mamilla well, yes or no?
Yeah.
Some of you know Mamilla well? This is Aroma.
Wow.
This is Royal Adib. You're with me or not? I mean, this is Mamilla. This is Ramon Cafe is over there, okay? Bottom line, the following day, Alan Canagan looks around and he stands there and he says, oh dear, oh my, oh dear, oh my. Like standing, look at all the shops are burnt. And what does he do? He does the stupidest thing you can do. You know what he does? He puts up guards guarding the street. Look at Mamilla carefully. You guys see this British soldier on the bottom left corner? You guys see him statistically. What's his name, by the way? No?
Harry.
Harry! Okay, Harry. Where was Harry the night before? Harry's standing there, look carefully at this picture. He's standing, I don't know if you can tell with the quality. He's standing there shop letting out smoke. You guys see it or not? Like, what are you going to steal? Broken belts, broken buckles? Like, what are you going to take? Burnt sneakers, broken glass? What are you going to steal? Where were you the night before? When you actually needed thousands of Arabs riding with axes, where were you? He was drinking whiskey in a bar, he couldn't care less. You know why? He's getting on a boat in 4 months, misses his girlfriend in Manchester. He doesn't care about the Jews and the Arabs.
As long as it's Manchester.
There's somebody from Manchester, I apologize.
No one's from Manchester, you're fine.
What?
No
one's from Manchester. You're from London, that's lovely. Anyways, what did I want to say? What do they do? What do they do? The British come the following day because they couldn't really care less. By the way, from this point on, what happens? The old city is under siege. The British guys, I don't know if you can tell this picture, Jews are waiting online for getting a sack of flour once a week per family, a cup of flour, because there is no food. And the British guys put up tanks on Jaffa Gate, where the entrance is Jaffa Gate. They put tanks, and you can't come in. You're under siege for 6 months before the battle's even started. Now, inside the old city, this is peanuts, this is outside. In the old city, what happens the following day? This is the old city, that's the Jewish quarter, that's the Muslim quarter, and Armenian Christian. Forget the Armenian Christians for a second. Let's not be politically correct. They're Jews and they're Arabs. You guys ready? How many Jews do I have here in the old city? How many Arabs do I have in the old city? If I would actually zoom in, by the way, this little tiny thing, red, is the Jewish quarter. All the rest is Arabs. Okay, some of them were Christian, some of them were Muslim. You can give 3 whole semesters teaching here why the Palestinian movement was actually led by Palestinian, by Christians, because that was their only way of they were pushing nationality, because that's their only way of not being second-class citizens. That's true of the entire Muslim world, but whatever, okay, they were Christians, but they were Palestinians. Ready with me? How many Palestinians, how many Jews do I have? By the way, the Palestinians started attacking Jews from all around directions, and the British guys come, what do? They put posts guarding them. If you look carefully at these posts, and you see the Nissan Beck Shul and the Korba Synagogue, zoom in, it's hard to see. You guys see this British soldier? He has a pump on his braid, look carefully. He's a British soldier, his name's Philip or James or something. He's facing in. This is right near where all the, what do you call it, sorry? All the shawarmas, papas, hallelujah, you guys bought the stuff there. And this guy over here, where is he standing? He's standing in the Armenian quarter facing in. He has a pump on his brace from the Scottish division. He's facing in. He's not watching the Jews, he's watching the Jews. That's what the British guys are doing. What's this guy thinking of? If he faces the Arabs, they might shoot him. If he faces the Jews, what are they going to do? Yell at him in Yiddish? Throw dirty diapers at him? Any day would take dirty diapers over what? Live rounds of ammunition. Now, this is all peanuts. How many people do I have in the old city? I have 2,000 Jews, and I have 40,000 Arabs. Anybody here do sports? Imagine playing a basketball game 1-on-20. That's what's going on. For every Jew, I have 20 Arabs, and you're going to tell me not all the Arabs were involved. Correct. But this includes the Jews that are 96 years old in a wheelchair and infants. You guys with me? This is a problem. Even if only 10% of the Arabs were guys with guns, I got a problem. They're outnumbered 1-20. That's insane. Again, imagine a basketball guy match 1-on-20 or soccer 1-on-20. Now, what do the Jews look? Can I make fun of somebody for a minute? Thank God you're a girl seminary. I don't have to make fun. I can make fun of myself. You guys, anybody have a lone soldier or brother or boyfriend who's a lone soldier? Can I make fun of him? Give thick skin. Yeah. He's your brother or girlfriend or boyfriend? Sorry. Brother or boyfriend. Okay. Where did you learn before you guys are off the mother? In Torah Tech. Wow, I hit the jackpot. First of all, tell him I say hi. Okay, that's number one. Number two, who's your brother? No way, you're Kobe's brother. And Ellie Smith is your cousin.
My uncle.
Your uncle, sorry, whatever, anyway. I should call you today, you didn't answer me today. Anyway, whatever, long story. Can I make fun for a minute or not? Where's Kobe serve?
Your dad is in Geneva.
He's in, no, but where is he in the army? What? Sarah Harut. Oh, you're gorgeous. Okay, can I make fun of Kobe for a minute? Kobe won't forgive me, okay?
Record it.
Amalia, the
door is
door's
Record it with your mind.
What's your name? Amalia. Okay. Everybody but Amalia can participate in this game now. You ready? Okay, the first day Kobe got drafted, he got a lot of shtick. He got, I don't know, knee pads, helmet, vests, boots, uniform, all kinds of stupid. They give you a freaking blanket and a shovel. I mean, they literally sign you on the stupidest things in the world. He also, one of the things Kobe got is a gun. He got a rifle. What do you think the first thing Kobe did with a rifle is?
Take a
No,
picture.
you don't shoot. It's not a GTA game. You shoot it, you can take somebody's eyes away. He takes a picture. Thank you. Puts it on Instagram. How long did it take Kobe until he put a picture with a gun on Instagram?
2 minutes.
0.2 seconds. No, wait a minute. When Kobe took that picture for Instagram, did he do it with a t-shirt on or a sleeveless t-shirt? Sleeveless. Did he do it when he's flexing or not flexing? And if he has a six-pack, did he do it with a shirt on or without a shirt on? Did he do it with his gun or the biggest gun in the platoon? Now, I don't want to make a sharpshooter, not a sniper. I don't want to make what?
He's a sniper.
What does he have? M24 Kato? A 338? What does he have? I'll ask him. He's a sharpshooter. What does he have? It's legit on his gun. Magnifies by 4, not by 10. You know the picture later in a minute, okay?
The picture of the shirt off.
Okay. Not only. Anyway, but well, he's gonna know I said this too well. What did I want to say? I don't make fun of ours. I'll make fun of myself. I was in the army 20 years ago. There were no digital cameras invented yet. Meaning, every one of these stupid pictures I'm about to show you now of me posing with guns, I had to actually spend 5 shekel to actually develop. It was film. You have to go click, zip, 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 click, zip, zip, zip. Okay? This is me when I was a new trainee. Wait a minute. I can't even lift. This is a mug. It weighs like 20 kilograms. I can't even lift that with one hand if I tried today. This is a pillow you sew onto the strap so it doesn't break the neck of the person carrying it because it weighs so much. And bottom line, okay, I can go on and on and on. I'm posing like an absolute moron. This isn't even my gun. This is my gun. And in case you guys can't see, I have the shirt here for seminaries. I'm shirtless here. I'm just saying because I was a 19-year-old. Whatever. Anyway, why? You gotta help me out. Because I'm a 19-year-old idiot. Okay? Now, I don't make fun of myself. I made fun of myself. I was a 19-year-old idiot. Now let's make fun of Arabs for a minute. Look at a 19-year-old Arab guy. He did the same thing I did 50-something years before me. Everybody say hi to Mustafa. Mustafa wants to impress his girlfriend. He says, Aisha. Macho boyfriend Ibrahim is. He's trying to impress his girlfriend. Okay? Now, by the way, this is the stupidest guy in 1948. There's a lot of title for the stupidest guy in 1948. A lot of people did a lot of stupid things. He's the title. You guys know what Darwin a winner is or not? Darwin Award? Yeah. That's like the, how do you say, the natural selection. You probably wouldn't make it. You know? This is the Darwin a winner for 1948. Do you guys know why or not? Only soldiers alive. He hangs the grenades, if you look carefully, he hangs the grenades from the safety. Can you guys tell him that? I don't know if you guys know what that means. That means you take a step down and wait to fall.
And look where you're holding them.
Hang on. There are thousands of Arabs that look like this. What do the Jews look like? This is what the Jews look like. Okay, now, you guys are laughing, but I'm dead serious. I have 40,000 of those, and I have 2,000 of those, and if you tell me not all the Arabs were involved, I'll say this includes the infants. I got news for you. Where does the Arab guy get guns from? Guns are illegal. You're going to say the British. I'm going to say, yeah, it's 1% true. If you're a British guy and you confiscate a gun from a Jew, what do you do? If you're a goody two-shoe, you go to your officer and you say, I just confiscated this, right? And if you're a little more, you're thinking about the boat in 2 weeks back to England, you're thinking beer, so you go to sell it to the Arabs and you get more beer money. But that's very few of the guns. 1% maybe if it was from the British. 90%. Where was it from? Answer me quickly. What shop is this? What shop is this? What shop is
A
this?
shoe.
It's a shoe shop. Thank you. Some of you said shoe shop. It's a shoe shop. What is this? Look, I circled the kids that are doing shopping with their daddies. You guys ready? These are kids doing shopping with daddy. All the kids with the mustardy circles around. They're doing shopping with Abba. I got news for you. Look at the kid with the red circle. You guys see him or not?
Yeah.
His name is, I don't know, Hafez or Ziad or something. What's he selling? Look carefully at his hands. You should move it out of the way because this is going to be like a million pictures left to come. I think you'll just see like 1,000 tons of everything in here. Like whatever, you don't have to, but it's for you. Okay? And guess what? I mean, what? Look at what he's holding. He's holding two grenades. Like 5 for 100, 5 for 100. I mean,
No, it's Nasro.
There are
Come
many
on.
shops like this. Give me an age. Give me an age. Did this kid did bar mitzvah? Yes or no? I don't think he did bar mitzvah. Look at his merchandise. Now I got news for you. Everything I'm telling you now, this is peanuts. You know why? Because the day that Ben Gurion stands there and declares independence in Tel Aviv, and everyone's so happy. All the coffee shops in Tel Aviv are open. They're drinking free drinks out. Everyone's like dancing in the streets. Wow, we have Jewish state after 2,000 years. They're all happy. Guess what happened in the old city? The day before, you were fighting a bunch of local Arabs posing cameras. They're just posing. And they're posing. The following day, the British guys, which were the buffer zone, just got on the boat and went back to Manchester. What are you fighting? You're fighting an actual Arab army with a chain of command and trucks of ammunition and a tank war and a few airplanes. That's like me, taking the entire Golani or Givati or Nachal brigade. That's 1,400 soldiers, a brigade. Yeah, the Jordanians brought a brigade into the old city. Take the entire Nachal brigade or entire Golani brigade or paratroopers brigade to conquer one block in Bnei Brak. How long would it take the entire Golani brigade to conquer one block in Bnei Brak? 5 minutes, you're done. You're looking for Wi-Fi. Now, what I want to do is I want to walk around the Jewish quarter, the same beautiful Jewish quarter, the same alleyways you guys see all the time. And I want to zoom in and I want to look at what happened here in those few weeks. You guys ready? Now, the old city looks like this. Okay, the Jewish quarter is this little teeny thing over there. I'm going to zoom out and I'm going to make a really, really big thing. You guys ready? This is this. We're good? Yes. I want to zoom into what happened, okay? There was one little place called the Lubinsky Post. Why? They took over people's houses and they turned it into a post. So if your family name happened to be Lubinsky, it became the Lubinsky Post. If your family name was Olishtin or Weisville, it became the Weisberg Post, or the Olishtin Post, or the Rachamim Post. You guys ready? All the posts in the Jewish quarter had the last names of Jewish families who lived there. We're good? Okay, now, if I want to compare the Lubinsky Post, I compare it to one little place. Have you guys ever heard of a little place called Gaza? Yes or no?
Yes.
Right near Gaza, there's one city called Sderot. Unless you have the Red Alert app, now it's all familiar. Has anyone here ever heard of Mefarsim, or I don't know, Olanel, or Bolchaim, or Yated, or Sufar, Cholit, or Abshalom, or Kerem Shalom, or Naim, or Beni? Yes, because you guys were there until a week ago. Unless you don't have the Red Alert app, you've never in your life heard of Niram or Netiv Asala. Correct? Or Zikim. Correct? What is Sderot? Why Sderot? They got rocketed more in the past, I don't know, 20 years more than every other place. You guys know why? Because they're a big place. They're not small. If I'm from Gaza and I feel like, what's Gaza? Gaza's famous export is what? Is rockets, okay? So when you want to come, like I said, I beg you not to make me laugh. Okay? When they feel like shooting, if you shoot with Faisim, your odds of hitting a cow shed is like 1 to 1 million. You want to hit Sderot, there's 30,000 Jews in a cluster. It's a town. You guys ready? So that's why Sderot's more famous. But you know what? They all got bombarded a ton. And you guys were there last week and you saw the horrors that happened there on the 7th of October. I have a question. When do the rocket scares ever come in good times or in bad times? When do the rocket scares come? Well, they come in good times and bad times. You're right. The Murphy's Law. When do they come? Bad times. Never does it come when it's good. You know when it comes? It comes when you're sorry, when you're about to bring out your birthday cake for your grandson's birthday. You're singing and suddenly you get a siren and the trash is the birthday. Or, by the way, it comes when you're in the toilet, or it comes when you're in the shower. I have a question. When it comes when you're in the shower, there's a siren, you have 10 seconds run for cover around Gaza. Does it come when you're in the shower? Does it come before or after in the conditioner? Can I say something sad? There are 2 boys in this room. Do you know what conditioner is?
I do. I have daughters.
You have daughters. You have to use it. I literally, they go through a bottle of conditioner. I never realized. The girls are the ones. I'm a guy. You know how much shampoo I use? I promise you, I use like a pea worth of shampoo. That's enough for me because I have about 80 times less hair than the average person in this room. Okay, conditioner nonetheless. I've never used conditioner. We have it there for my wife. I mean, that's about it. I got news for you. You ready for this? My wife's best friend lives this the road. Every time she's about to shower, she puts in about, I don't know, half a bottle of conditioner worth in her hair, and then she gets a siren. Do you run or stay? Do you run or stay? It's a certain one. You run or stay every time she stays. But every time she has a feeling of, oh shoot, this time's going to happen, and what's going to happen? This really big boom is going to hit the building, and the rocks will go flying around, and what's going to happen? She says after a minute, when the dust clears, I'm going to stand there with the shower head in my hand, and when the dust clears, I'll see there's no walls around. I'll be, hi to my friend Moshe, what's up? Like, this is way worse. You know why it's way worse? Because the Lubinsky Post, this is what it looked like. You guys ready? These two windows right across were the Jewish quarter. Right up above this archway over there was the Muslim quarter. You guys see the distance or not? That's 21 meters. Let me tell you in distance, it's roughly from this bookshelf to this bookshelf. It's literally nothing. If you were Steven Spielberg and you were like videoing, lights, film, action, what would it sound like? What would it sound like? You guys know what AirPods are, right? Everybody know what AirPods are? If you were filming lights, film, action, let's go. Come on, a movie thing, you like pull it out, what would it sound like? On this microphone, and this little AirPod, it would sound da 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 da, boom boom boom, ba 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 ba, da 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 da. Other side, silence. Ba 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 ba, boom boom boom, ba ba ba. Silence. Why? Imagine you're watching a movie. One side is blasting your eardrum, the other side silence. What are you convinced? You're convinced your AirPods are broken. You're like, why is this side not working, right? You switch with your brother's AirPods for a minute, like, why is it not working? You know, what the, I have to repair them or something? No, it's because here they're shooting as much as they want. That truck's of ammunition, yalla, Abdallah, shoot as much as you want. On the other side, what are they doing? They're saving up. Now, this is crazy. Now, a few years ago, I'm a tour guide. I tour a lot of groups. I'm touring Machon Maayan, an Israeli pre-draft program. And literally right above me over there is a Jewish quarter, and right over there is two windows of a Muslim quarter. That previous picture I took from right over here, like that way. And guess what happened? And I'm sitting over there. And they weren't AirPods 10 years ago. I'm doing it with my hands. I'm going ba 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 boom like an idiot, you know. And when you're a lot of tour guides, I tell you the truth, people crash your tour all the time. Now, when you're guiding a family, it's really awkward. If some random dude wants to crash, or you're guiding two guys, you know, it's like really awkward. If you're guiding like 50 kids or 50 soldiers, do you think I care if some random older guys listening to my tour? I'm guiding them if there are 120 kids in a cluster. Sometimes entire families come and join. Like, I'll tell you the truth, I couldn't care less. Like, Mazal Tov, like, enjoy. And this 80-year-old guy was like leaning like this when I'm giving a tour, going ba 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 boom boom. A few years ago, this 80-year-old guy is leaning like this, listening to me. Whatever, let him listen. 80-year-old man, like cute, whatever. Sababa. I'm going ba 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 boom like an idiot, and he listens to me. And after 2 minutes, I stopped and I started walking. This guy carefully walks to the front of the group. Says, "Excuse me, are you a tour guide?" I'm like, "Yeah." Now, when you're a tour guide, you get asked, "You're a tour guide?" for two reasons. One, where's the hotel? Two, where's the bathroom? Okay, like those are the two questions you get asked all the time. So he asked me, "You're a tour guide?" I'm like, "Yeah, why?" He's like, "No, here you're talking about the old city in 1948. You're familiar with the Jewish post that was right up here above your head?" I'm like, "Yeah, it was called Lubinsky Post." Why? Like they took over people's houses, turned them into posts. Lubinsky Post. He says, "Lubinsky Post, very nice." He says, "Do you know who's the commander?" I'm like, "Yeah, his name was Elitzur Ben-Gur. I read his book. Like he wrote a book about 1948. I happened to read his book. Why?" He goes, "Nice to meet you, pal. My name happens to be Elitzur Ben-Gur." And pulls out his hand. Now, my jaw dropped down to my belly button. I'm there talking about the war in 1948 when the guy who literally fought there is listening, is crashing my tour like this, leaning on a wall. I pulled my microphone off and I said, "Listen, like, the crowd's yours. Like, like you told me about this place." He says, "Were you in Lebanon War?" This is like, I don't know, 2009. It was a few years after the second Lebanon War. I was a paratrooper. I used to be combat until I lost my earring. He looks at me and says, "You crossed the border in Lebanon?" I'm like, "Yeah." I mean, he's like, "Where'd you serve?" I was like, "Paratroopers in reserve duty already." "What'd you cross the border with?" Now, this is a picture of me when I was in the team a week before. I was given 30 grenades, 300 bullets, 10 clips, and 2 Metadol missiles, like a missile blast through a wall. I know in movies, like people go through doors. In real life, you don't go through a door. Why? It's booby trap. You go through the walls. Does that make sense? This thing blasts through the wall with a big enough hole.
No!
That's all right. As long as it goes in your hair, I'm good. It's okay.
Careful with the wire.
It's a moth. They live. They don't sting. They don't do anything. They just are annoying. Okay? And he looks at me and says, "What'd you have with you?" I had 30 grenades and 300 bullets. This guy looks at me and says, "You get 300 bullets and 30 grenades?" I'm like, "Wait a minute, pause, stop. I'm one of the smaller guys in my company." Meaning most of the guys carried more than I did. If you guys stand up, you'll see 3/4 of you guys are taller than me. I'm a short guy. Okay, sorry, we're from LA. I'm vertically challenged. Okay, like I'm sorry. Why are you in LA? From Boston or something?
He's critically challenged.
Don't make me laugh. Anyway, what did I want to say? It's waking you guys up instead of you sleeping. This guy looks at me and says, "You had 300 bullets and 2 grenades and 30 grenades and 300 bullets." I'm like, "Yeah, that was just one guy. Most of the guys were bigger than me. They carried more than I did. I'm one of the smaller guys. I carried less." This guy looks at me and says, "I have to stop the entire Jordanian Legion, and what I had was one cardboard box with 34 bullets inside." Hang on tight. That's like me saying, "Sorry, here's 20 shekels. Go find me a Tesla." I mean, it's like, how are you supposed to hold back a brigade of 1,000 soldiers when what you have with you is what? Is like 30 bullets. I mean, let's say Robin did. You shoot 3 people, every 1 bullet through 3 people. I mean, you're still left with 900 when your last bullet's gone. How are you supposed to hold up? He told us a story. Can you guys do blood or no?
Yes.
He told us a story that was pretty crazy. He said that he was standing in the post for 3 days. He didn't sleep. He's standing for 3 whole days without sleeping. What suddenly happens? He stands over there and he's thinking one thing. I just want to sleep. Like 3 whole days of not sleeping. He's a floor mop. And suddenly what happens? He leans over. Like he suddenly gets 2 fresh guys. One guy called Mayor Steinberg and go to Esther Gold, and they're standing there. Like doing, you know, and they say, "We're here to switch you." He says, "I just want to go to sleep." I gave him a briefing. You know what the briefing said? It doesn't matter what they do. It doesn't matter how much the Jordanians shoot you. Do not be tempted to shoot back. You have 30 bullets, there are 1,000 guys. If you see the Arabs coming through, like under your archway, like, and you see the guys with ranks, shoot the guys with ranks over here and not over here, meaning the officers. Shoot the commanders, because you don't have enough bullets to come and shoot them all. He goes to sleep, wakes up after an hour, you're screaming. He sees one girl, Esther, screaming on the floor. Near another guy sitting in a puddle of blood. His name's Mayor Steinberg, got shot in his face. He said, it's not that the soldier wasn't a normal soldier. He was a normal soldier. 45 minutes, he gets shot at. What do? You try sticking your gun through the sandbags. Let them see. Let the Jordanians see. It's not a mannequin. There's actually a person here. You know, he just wiggles the gun. Just, not shooting, just wiggle the gun. By the time he wiggles the gun, what happens? The old Jordanians are like, "Oh, there's a guy over there." And what do? They all shoot at the same time. One of the bullets, all it took, because one hit him right in the face, killed him on spot. He says it wasn't that he wasn't a normal soldier, he was a normal soldier. He just didn't comprehend that the battle here was not a normal battle. You're fighting nothing to fight with. And slowly what happens, Jewish people retreat. Now, by the way, all the pictures that we have are original pictures. It was this British guy called John Phillips. He stayed back and he took pictures. He wrote a book even, The Will to Survive. He realized this was historical moments. All the pictures we have are original. Like, this is actually the Jordanian soldiers making progress coming in from Damascus Gate. These are actually when they close Zion Gate, Shar Tzion. That's the synagogues going up in the old city. Okay, like insane. This is, you see this Palat Yosef Yeshiva up there? There's another picture of Palat Yosef Yeshiva. That's a before and after. They're blowing up systematically the Jewish quarter. And what happens? All the Jews. I'm skipping a few pictures. Forget the Arabs are taking pictures there for what do you call? Look at the Jews. What are they taking? What do they have with them? What do they have with them? Look carefully, they have sheets. Sorry, man. You guys see they have sheets. What do they have? You take your expensive inheritance, and what do? You stick it in a thing, you leave your house. 5 minutes later, what's left with your house? Look at this picture. This is not in Lodz. This is taken here in the Jewish quarter. What do they have? 5 minutes before and 5 minutes after, right? Can I share one picture? I'm not showing it because I'm a chauvinist. You guys see the Arab guy walking with nothing but a stick, and his 2 wives are schlepping everything, right? See wife number 1, the closer one to him. What's she carrying? You guys say barrels, right? Muslims don't drink alcohol, it's not barrels.
No, it's water.
Have you guys ever seen the Sephardi Sefer Torah? Take a close look. Have you guys seen Sephardi Sefer Torah? Yes or no?
Yeah.
She's carrying 3 Sephardi Sefer Torah to make a new leather lining for kids' sneakers. And what happens? The Jewish quarter is slowly blowing up. When you guys walk around the Jewish quarter today, 90% of what you see is modern. Okay, the old stuff has like the screws holding it up. That's 90% is not. It's rebuilt in the 70s. And slowly, what do? They take all the Jewish people from the entire Jewish quarter. What do? They squish them in one little place. These 4 Sephardi synagogues that are all adjacent. Now, this is a picture of what it used to look like 100 years ago. 4 shul. 4 shuls adjacent. By the way, this is what it looks like today. The bar mitzvahs there and stuff. They did a really good job of rebuilding it. You know what happened there? There was one guy, Menashe Penso, stands over there and he says, he was a 17-year-old kid then. He says, I had the machine gun. I had one machine gun. We had in the old city one Louis gun, one machine. It shoots automatic, like a burst of fire. And what did he do? He went to every one of the 4 posts and he gave a burst of fire. Why? So that the Jordanians would think that what do we have? 4 machine guns and not just one. Clever, right?
Yeah.
Okay? This guy, his name was Machon Maayan, walks in, he gave me a tour, he died a few years ago. He says, something happened here I'll never forget in my life. I say, what? He says, I walk into the shul, I'm looking for one guy, Moshe Epstein, and I see 1,000 kids screaming and crying. Sorry, I'm being so blunt. If I take a seminary with 50 people and they need a bathroom, I get a 45-minute break. Imagine you stick 1,000 people in the synagogue. Well, what do they have? One bathroom. One stall. These are Haredi guys who are making their pants in front of the whole community in a synagogue. Imagine what their mental status is like. That's not fun. Not fun. And women are screaming, where's my son, where's my son? And he walks into the shul, he sees people are screaming, and what happens? He leans over, and what does he see? He sees this guy is looking for Moshe Epstein in front, davening like that with the Aron Kodesh open. He climbs over all these crying women, and what does he look over his shoulder? What does he see? He sees he's praying with a siddur, but not a regular siddur. He's praying with a Yom Kippur Machzor. And he says, wait, Yom Kippur is like, this is like a week or two after Pesach. Yom Kippur's in 6 months almost. Like, why are you davening the Yom Kippur Machzor? He says, I'm saying vidui, I'm saying confession. He says, why? He says, that's what you say before you die. Here, we're going to die. You should say vidui also. This is what's going on in this shul. And this is crazy. Now, slowly, what do? They take all the Jewish people, and what do they all start running through the alleyways, putting everybody in one little place. Now, I don't want to make fun. I won't yet. I will in a minute, okay? This guy, Shimon Azulai, he walks around, and what does he see? He sees an Arab dude. He yells to him in one of the posts. He says, Shimon, till today, we work together in the same bakery, in the same, we were co-counselors in the camp, but today we're real enemies. We're going to chop your heads off, you're a bunch of chickens. That's your best friend. He yells to you, today we're real enemies, we're going to outnumber you like you're a bunch of chickens. And what happens? This lady, Yudit Owenstein, she was a 14-year-old girl. She says we ran around collecting broken glass, we had tons of broken glass, shoving it into cans together with a little explosives to try to improvise grenades. Because the 14-year-old kids were fighting just like everybody else. Now, when you take a 14-year-old girl today, what does she have in her hard drive? Can I make fun a little bit or not?
Yeah.
The average 14-year-old girl, what does her mental status consist of when she's 14? What? Herself. Can I make fun?
Yeah.
I got 80% roughly, okay? Good. I'm forgetting a few apps, I know. I got news for you. A 14-year-old girl, her name is Tova Godot. She ran through the alleyways alone. Now, if you're a 14-year-old boy, the Jordanians catch you. What's going to happen to you? How about if you're a 14-year-old girl? You guys understand what that is. And what happened? This girl ran with a note calling for Yitzil Bendel for help when he got really badly wounded, and a mortar shell fell. She went flying on the wall. 2 things happened when she woke up. She was unconscious. When she woke up, she knows 2 things. 1, she's full of blood. Number 2, she lost her left wrist. Number 3, the note calling for Menachem for help was next to her. You know what she did? She left her hand behind, she took the note, and she ran to call for help, not to the infirmary, but help for herself. This is a 14-year-old girl that cared more about what? About his life than she cared about her left wrist. By the way, she lives about the Hamam Merkazit today. She's 9 years old. Okay? I'm just saying, this is a 14-year-old girl. Slowly, what do? They take all the Jewish bodies, which they managed to retrieve, and what do? They stick them in one little place, in one little memorial. If you look carefully at the wall near this memorial, it's right there near the Rova, dorms and stuff. If you look carefully at the wall, it says it's where they buried all the people. You can't fight in the post that has your dead friends for 3 or 4 days in the post. So what do? These are pictures of what it used to look like once upon a time. These are girls sitting next to the graves of their older sisters. They write on the wall, this is where they buried all the people before they left the old city. Hey, just so you know, there's a communal huge burial here with 48 bodies that we managed to retrieve. 20 bodies were never retrieved. What do? I want to tell you one story of one little girl. She was 22 years old. Her name is Esther Kallengold. By the way, this is the one point where I want to get very serious. I want every one of you guys to listen, even though it's hard and we're sitting here for half an hour. Esther Kallengold is a 21-year-old girl when she came to Israel. She became 22. Mazel Tov. if she was 22 and she's from England and she came here to, teach English, and the school, by the way, exists till today in Jerusalem, Sishkin Street, the Van de Rothschild, still exists till today, and she came here to teach English. If she was 21 or 22-year-old girl in Israel in 1947, what does that mean in the Holocaust? 1944 in England. What was she, 17-year-old? She's not seen dead people on the internet. She's not seen dead people on the news. You know where she's seen mothers screaming because they're holding their dead babies? In London, she's seen thousands of dead people with her own very eyes. If not tens of thousands. She's seen thousands of mothers screaming their husband just killed and he's under the rubble. She has seen thousands of that. And when the war breaks out, what happens in 1947? The war breaks out. She doesn't say, "Mom, get quick, get me a charter plane, get me out of here. Get me a boat, get me a plane, get me something." You know what she does? She joins the war. Says, "Where am I needed? I'm going to stay here." She joins the Haganah, bless you, and she goes to where? Where it's most needed. The day before, her best friend got shot in the face, Mayor Steinberg, and the following day she was in a post here, Arlington Post, and suddenly a mortar shell lands. 10 wounded people. The mortar shell landed right next to her. She was really badly wounded. There are two types of people in the IDF who got killed. Some got killed right away. Poof. I don't know, sniper shot you in the head. Your thing blew up. Died in a millisecond. Some people were injured. The people that were injured had time to what? Sometimes say goodbye. Tell me how I loved her. It was not easy. This girl had enough time to what? She was bleeding slowly for hours. And 7 hours before she died, she's feeling more and more faint. What does she do? She pulls out a note and she starts scribbling a goodbye letter to her parents. Now, I know it's hard to read the script here. I'm quoting a letter in Hebrew, in English. You guys ready? So here's, "Dear Mom and Dad, if you even receive this letter, I'm assuming it's going to be a little messy. I'm writing it to you to beg you no matter what happens to me. Please understand, I have no regrets." She doesn't regret coming to Israel at all, even though she's not going to go back to England. "We've had a bitter fight. We've experienced Gehenna. But it was well worthwhile because I'm convinced that in the end we will have a Jewish state and a realization of all of our longings. I'll be one of many full victims, and urge to write this letter awakened in me today because a very close friend of mine had died." That's like on Mayor Steinberg. "Because of the pain I felt, I wanted you to see things differently. Remember that we were soldiers and we fought for a great cause. We had the noblest and greatest cause to fight for. I'm roughly over here. Why does this girl that's about to die, 7 hours after this letter, she's dead, she's buried in her hospital today. Why does she feel that? You know why? You know why? Do you notice that she's writing that letter in plural, not in single? We have had a fierce battle. We will have a Jewish state, a realization of all our longings, not mine. I won't see it. But we will have a Jewish state one day. You guys notice that or not? If you live like an individual, then sorry, the army doesn't make sense. Fighting for a country doesn't make sense because it's not about you. It's about what? It's about the collective you stand for. You could take 4 guys that are sitting on the same scaffolding with the same bucket of concrete. Go to the first guy, Moshe, what are you doing? He's like, "I'm laying bricks." You go to the second guy, Michael, what are you doing? He's like, "I'm building a wall." They're doing the same exact thing. They're both laying bricks. Just where's the difference? It's here. By the way, if you go to the third guy, he says, "I'm building a building." And you go to the fourth guy, he says, "I'm building a hospital." You realize they're all sitting on the same scaffolding. They're building the same bricks. I promise you it's easier for the person who knows what. He's building a hospital and the guy who's just laying bricks. The difference is only in their mindset. That's it. That's the only difference between them. What does she realize? Yeah, I'm going to die. I'm not going to see Jewish state, but we will have a Jewish state. And you know what she writes to her parents? She says, "Here in the holy city of Jerusalem, I'm proud to pay the price it might take to redeem it. And don't think I took any stupid risk. It's not worth it when you're so low in manpower." And the last paragraph she says, "I hope you may have a chance of meeting any of my co-fighters who survived. If I don't, and them speaking to you about me and make you feel proud. Please, Mom and Dad, don't be any sadder than you must. Please remember me in happiness. Shalom Aleichem." She writes in Hebrew, you can maybe see that. "You're ever loving Esther." Why does this girl write this letter? Why does she write to her parents, "Don't be sad, but be proud of me"? Why? Because she realizes what she's doing. Can I show this for a minute for today or not? You guys weren't around Gaza, right? I don't know if you guys know. I don't know if you guys follow the Israeli media. On the 7th of October, chaos broke out. You guys remember this? There was one guy, his name was Eliyahu ben Moshe. It was on sale in Matkal, a very elite unit. He was sitting with Yuval. He and Yuval got married in June. So, they're not even half a year married in October. It's only 3 months. And they're sitting picnicking on the Golan Heights, 8 o'clock in the morning. Suddenly his friends call him up on the phone and say, "We really need you." He says goodbye to Yuval. She didn't think he's not coming back. And he literally got on a car, drove 190 miles an hour on that empty streets on that morning, Everybody you could drive away from down south, the driving lane, he drives to down south. He's got 5 friends, and he goes down south, and then the last house in the game as he was clearing the kibbutz. 1 week after he got killed, Eytan Rund was an Israeli, what's it called? Israeli reporter. She's like all feel. She's all about emotion. Yeah. Like she's like, how do you feel? You know, it's like it's all you. So you write down on YouTube, you'll see a million clips of her interviewing. They're all emotional. She sits there with Galitim Ben Moshe, Aliyah's mom, Aliyah Ben Moshe's mom, and she says, "How do you feel? You just lost your son a week ago. You know, and her, you know, it took her 0.1 milliseconds to answer. You know what she said? How do you feel? You just lost your son. Yeah. I feel proud." And she says, "You almost lost, like 1 week ago, you lost your son." She says, "Yeah, I almost lost 2. My second son got shot in the chest, but he's still alive. I feel proud." And she says, you don't feel sad, you just lost your son." She goes, "Yesh lach makom acher lalechet?" You have somewhere else to go? Like barks at her. If you look at things individually, it doesn't make sense. Eytan Rund is like the priest of that. But if you look at it and you realize you're protecting something way bigger, then you know what, I do it again. When she writes to her mom and dad, "Be proud of me, don't be sad about me." And what happens, they slowly take all the Jews, and they squish them in one little place, the Batei Machaseh, that's where the world belongs on. And what do? They take 1,000 people, and they squish them over there, and the Jordanians were coming forward. And the Jews are like, give us ammunition, give us ammunition. They squish 1,000 people there, and there is no ammunition. Moshe Olstein begs, "Give me all the boxes." They give him all the boxes were empty. Sorry, 1 box in it had a spider, that's it. Fighting with guns without bullets is pointless. You know what they do? They surrender. The rabbis walk out and surrender. Jordanians say, no rabbis, a army general. And they take Moshe Olstein, a 26-year-old guy, and what do? And he goes and he signs a surrender form. Now, why do they feel so terrible? 328 people in the Jewish quarter lost hands and legs. They can't walk ever again because they don't have to walk on, or they can't see because they'll never have what to see with. They can't hold because they don't have what to hold with. And we're surrendering, and 68 people got killed. For what? For us to surrender? They feel terrible as an under. We could have surrendered 6 months ago, saved all this hardship, all this pain, all this agony, all these injuries. But that's not why they feel so terrible. You know why? The Jordanians say, "Give us all the guns." They give them all the guns. They say, "Give us all the men." They stand up 314 men in rows. And they say, "We're taking you as captives. We don't want the women and children. We're taking the women and children now. We want the men. You killed our soldiers. We're taking you captive. You're not just going to walk away from here today. You're prisoners of war." Now, why is that so terrible? You guys know why or not? 2 weeks before this happens in the Jewish quarter, there was a place where I happen to live today, where half of your staff probably lives. Okay, half the staff is half the schools live too. A place called Gush Etzion. 1943, a bunch of guys came and they were dancing with an accordion. They established a beautiful kibbutz called Kfar Etzion. Look at the background, the middle of the hills, the middle of the wilderness. They built a kibbutz. This thing, pardon me, looks like it's taken out of how do you say, a postcard. Literally, this is Kfar Etzion, 1946. This is Kfar Etzion, 1948. They took the entire kibbutz after they surrendered, and what happened? They shot them in front of the wall. The 3 guys who survived this, but 151 out of 154 people were shot in front of the wall, shot. For these people, they're standing here in the Jewish quarter. They know what happened. The same Jordanian army 2 weeks earlier, what did they do to the prisoners? They shot them. Can you imagine you're a 12-year-old girl and you see your dad standing 20 feet away, and he knows about to happen to your dad? Within 3 minutes, they're about to kill him, right? And by the way, you know exactly what's going on, right? Because you see your mom freaking out, yelling, "Yes, I'm screaming." You're yelling, "Abba." I want you to imagine a 12-year-old girl screaming, "Abba, Abba." I want you to imagine that. Push copy. And now scroll the mouse. Push paste 1,000 times. 1,011-year-old boys and 16-year-old girls screaming, "Abba, Abba," or the name of their older brother or their dad, because both of them are wrong. You're yelling, "Abba, Abba, Shmuel, Shmuel, Abba, Abba, Shmuel." Can you imagine that? I want you to push copy. I want you to push paste till your fingers go. Till your fingers go along. There are 1,000 kids that are yelling, what? Abba. And what do? They squish them all out to Shar Tzion, and Shar Tzion was closed by Jordanians, but they rounded up all the women and children and they forced them out. You guys see this picture of the people being forced out of the old city? I'm looking at this girl. You guys see her or not? What's she screaming? She's screaming Abba. That's what a girl looks like who's about to lose her Abba right now. It's as clear as day to her that what's happening. She's right now being orphaned. As she's being pushed out. Forget losing her house, forget losing everything. She's losing her Abba. And you know what happened? They forced the women and children out, and they were convinced that their husbands were killed. But guess what happened? A few months later, they suddenly started getting letters from their husbands. Their husbands were in a prisoner camp. They weren't shot. They were put in a prisoner camp in Umjiman, and they managed to squish out a few like drawings and stuff, like Yiddish writing and all that. They were like, oh my God! By the way, a year later, 7 months later, they already managed to scribble out like different pictures of it. You know what happened? A year later, those guys came back. One of those kids who came back, you guys see pictures from the old city. This kid, Eddie Kedar, died of corona 4 years ago. This kid, 89 years old. This guy, Eddie Kedar, and he was taken captive like everybody else. He was 15. They took 15 years old and up. They took him captive. He was taken captive. And you know what what happened to him? When they brought back a prisoner exchange, everybody came back to Israel. He came back to Israel and he became 16. You know what he did? He was 16. When he finished high school. When he was 19, you know what he did? He joined the army. Happens. When he was 22, he became an officer in the army, right? When he was 22, he was out of the army, discharged. You know, he opened a car repair shop in a bus company. By the way, his son was a bus driver of mine with a birthright for 10 days. Like, you know, like, it's, you know. And suddenly, what happens? You guys know I'm doing this because this year they called up for the first time in 50 years a lot of reservists. I'm 40 and I do Miluim. Okay, they call you up if they need you. You know, so he owns a car repair company and a car dealership, and you know, nobody wants to be higher-ranking people on reserve duty. You know why? Nobody wants to be, because you don't get any compensation for it. You have a lot more burden, a lot more responsibility, and what? You get the same salary if you're a random simple soldier or if you're a brigade commander. Like, who cares? Nobody wants to be a commander. You know how the army gets you to do it? They tap your ego. They tap you on the shoulder. They say, dude, you'll be great at this. You know, you should do it. You should do it. And you know what he happened to him? He agreed. And he slowly got higher and higher. This is him when he was a company commander in Miluim. He's sitting here with his company, a commander. Like, wow, it's like a company's 100 soldiers. It's like being a CEO of a company with 100 employees. It's huge. Guess what happened to him when he was 33 years old, 1966? You know what happened to him? He agreed to become a regiment commander. Now, regiment is like 400 guys. He's the top. You guys ready? That was 1966. When he was 33 years old, he became a regiment commander. You know what happened? Little do you know that 1 year later, it's going to happen in 1967. And what's going to break out is a massive, massive, massive war. And within 48 hours of this massive war, you know what's going to happen? The paratroopers commander, this guy over here, his name is Montagul, is going to be standing right near Al-Aqsa Mosque. You guys see on the RSA team, he's going to say, Lanua, Lanua, Lashal. And the paratroopers brigade is going to run up from Shara Arayot, Lion's Gate, and they're going to run up, and Yoram Zamush and Stempel are going to fly an Israeli flag by the Kotel and like sing a tikva, like with their hands trembling. You know what happens? It's very, very famous what happened to the paratroopers brigade. You know what happened at the same exact time? The Jerusalem brigade, led by this guy Eli Kedar, who was in the old city in 1948 as a kid. They ran up from where? From the Kotel and Shara Shpot. They ran up to the Jewish quarter. The Jewish quarter was in shambles. Remember I told you 90% of it's broken. The whole thing is just rubble, rubble, rubble. This regiment commander sits in the rubble, and you know what he starts doing? He started crying. You know, it was a hot day in June. All the soldiers were convinced he's heat stroke. They say, why are you crying? Why are you crying? What does he do? He says, you don't understand, you don't understand. They say, what? And he says, I fought here when I was 1948. I was a kid. We fought here. I can't believe we're back. The Jewish quarter, what happens then in the 70s? What do you guys see? They do archaeology in the whole Jewish quarter, and they rebuild everything. You guys walk around the Jewish quarter, besides galleries and your friends from Arova and Araita, it looks like an artist colony. It's just gorgeous. You walk around, you couldn't even tell that a battle happened there, and 70 guys got killed, and 300 people were badly wounded. There's no sign of it. You know what happened? At the same exact time that the paratroopers got over there crying, with Rav Goren blowing the shofar, maybe the most famous picture is a picture of the Gudengel took with paratroopers crying at the Kotel. At the same exact time, Eli Kedar was coming up and was crying in the Jewish quarter. One of the soldiers that was there with Rav Goren, when they were blowing the shofar, you know what his name was? His name was Chaim Chefel. And Chaim Chefel wrote a beautiful, beautiful poem. The poem he wrote is called The Paratroopers Crying. He's trying to give an explanation to how these soldiers, who are tough cookies, who just fought for like 2 whole days, killing and whatever, and were killed, and blood Jordanians, what do they all start doing? They all started crying. Like mamish, crying, crying, crying. How did these tough guys start crying? You know, so he wrote a poem called The Paratroopers Cry. It's on Panim Pain. I like poetry. I really love poetry. The problem is the old poetry I like is in what language? In Hebrew. There's a poet, Avram Khalfi. He said a translated poem. A poem is a feminine thing in Hebrew. Yeah. He said translated poetry. Translated poetry. She's either not beautiful or not loyal. Very well put. You guys understand, the way he put it. So I because I like poetry, I invest a lot of hours in trying to translate it. So it sort of like gets the same feel. So this is my logic translation. You gotta believe me, in Hebrew it's nicer. You guys can't do poetry in Hebrew, okay? When I translated the wall, in English and Hebrew it's hakotel. Hakotel is a shema bet tefillot. Hakotel is a הרבה חומות נופלות. Hakotel is the kotel. Every line of the song almost starts with a kotel. I just wrote the wall. But you get when I say wall, what do I mean? I mean the kotel. You guys ready? This is what Chaim Chefa wrote. So many prayers were said by this wall. This wall stands high when so many others fall. This wall felt its crevices, filled with millions of notes, and it felt touch of crying women, sharing their prayers and their hopes. This wall has seen empires vanish like clouds in the sky, but has never yet seen paratroopers cry. They're running towards her with their hearts pounding fast, with yelling and silence, a sight hard to grasp. And they suddenly feel it and touch it with this uncontrollable feeling. Suddenly all their eyes all started tearing. And they looked at each other, gazing and shy, and asked, how could it be? How could it be the paratroopers cry? How could the strong sense of familiarity glow? And how come those tears just uncontrollably flow? You know how he finishes his poem? How could these soldiers, controllably, their tears just flow? They've never seen the kotel. How could they feel familiar? You know how he finishes his poem? Perhaps because these soldiers, who are just age 19, while they're standing here fulfilling 2,000 years worth of dreams. Why did these soldiers cry at the kotel? Because what do they realize? They're only 19. But what are they fulfilling? For how many years did we not have that kotel there? They suddenly felt it. What am I trying to say now in this whole whatever? The same alleyways you guys walk through. Can I take the cheesiest thing in the book? Absolutely the cheesiest? Yeah? What do you guys see now?
Oh, that building with the numbers on it?
No. What do you guys see now? A 9. Thank you. This is the cheesiest warning. Cheesy alert, okay? What do you guys see now? Thank you, okay? A lot of things in life are what? Matter of perspective. Okay? Like the guy building the wall or the guy, whatever. Well, what do you guys see now?
Screw.
Screw, right? How about now? Are you a screw or are you part of a chair? If you ask a screw, he can tell you either or, right? How about now? Where's that chair? You're a screw or you're part of a kitchen? By the way, where's that kitchen located? Okay? Why are you laughing? You can look at yourself as a screw or part of an aircraft carrier. You're part of an aircraft carrier. I think October 8th taught us very, very well the aircraft carriers. And you know what? From different battles where we were actually facing, I don't want to say annihilation, but really facing out, not like, I don't want to belittle what's going on in Gaza now. It's pretty massive slap in the back, and slap in the face, sorry, and our months to come are not going to be easy. And everybody realizes it and knows it. But sometimes when you're actually facing real hardships and you're really with your back to the wall, something brings out what? You still understand what you're actually doing there. One of the biggest problems that IDF soldiers have today is what? Is that they all look at themselves as individualists, right? We're all Westerners. So what do we say? For me, here now, it's not fun. It's not fun freezing in an ambush, and it's not fun switching, oil gaskets on F-16s, and it's not fun loading bombs on airplanes or looking at radar screens. It's not fun. But if you realize, hey, you're part of a machine. When you were 16, you were starting with kids on the beach, and hey, somebody else is watching you when you were having fun on the mall or on the beach when you're 15. And by the way, when you'll be 34 and take your kids to kindergarten, somebody else is going to watch you. The next mile is yours. And that changes what? Your whole perspective and being an individual, you suddenly realize, hey, I'm watching something bigger. I was enjoying it most of my life. Now is my mile. Now is my mile. The stretcher's been running. Yeah, it's ever heavy under the stretcher. But now is my mile. Correct? Can I mention one thing that I really, really, really wanted to mention on the side and I want to say it now? Could I? Can I take one more minute? What time is it now?
8:30.
Okay, I don't have what, 8:30. It'll take 3 more minutes. Could we or not?
Yeah.
Of course.
I don't know if, whatever, in a nutshell, okay? Masada was a suicide of 1,000 people, okay? 967 people committed suicide, killed their wives, killed their kids, and then, not a fun story. The Zionist movement took it, and what did they do? They glorified it in a way. We minted on coins, on stamps, army units sworn in the Masada. I mean, every youth group in the 20s and 30s came to Masada. I got drafted to the paratroopers in 2003. One of my best friends got drafted to Shaddad. Where was the swearing-in ceremony? At Masada. I was crying like a baby. It's a hotshot unit. Oh my God, 1 out of 1,000 guys get in. It was insane. Why? It's such a... What are you trying to teach him? Like, let's think. Oh, when hardship comes, you should commit suicide. When poop hits the fan, you should jump off a cliff. I mean, what are you trying to teach him? What a bad message. Like, then it would look really cool to me when I was a, 20-year-old kid. But thinking about it today, what a terrible message. What's the one thing Masada had that no other place in Israel had? You can't compare me to Adolf Hitler because I have 2 hands and he had 2 hands. We all have 2 hands, okay? Like, what's the one thing that defines him? He killed millions of Jews, correct? What's the one thing that defines Masada that no other place had? Suicide happened everywhere, not just in Masada, many more places. You've never heard of Gama or Yudfat, okay? Or Allah or Gush Khalav or I don't know, a million other places. You've never heard of Michvama. Jews committed suicide in all these places. What makes Masada unique that no other place has? You know what happened? When Jerusalem burned down in the year 70, Common Era, you know what happened? Jews ran out to a few hideout places of King Herod from 80 years earlier. One of them was Masada, one of them was Michvar and Eruditis and Salta, but you never heard of the others. And the Jordanians came, and the Romans came to every single one. And you know what happened? The Jews committed suicide. But you know what? The one difference between Masada and every other place is they were the last, meaning they had nowhere else to go. Because when they came and they put Michvar under siege, you had where to go. Masada's still around, right? Volcania's still around. They came to Volcania, they came and put them under siege, they had where to go, right? When they got 4 years later, they got to Masada 3.5 years later, did the guys from Masada have where to go, yes or no? The Zionist movement was trying to say a message, and that message is very important. Yitzhak Rambam, by the way, wrote this 100 years ago, 101, 1923. He wrote Masada as a parable to what? What Israel means to us today. We don't have where to go. This is our last standpoint. Or if you want to put it in terminology you guys understand, it's our insurance policy. If I tell you, come move my Tesla, come park my Tesla, you say, cool, Tesla's neat, right? Come, here's my Ferrari, come park it. You think, wow, cool, right? If I say, by the way, the insurance finished a week ago, careful not to dent it. What do you say to take your car? I'm not driving it. If you have to go pick up your brother from, I don't know, gym class, or after, or I don't know what, like, okay, fine, I'll go pick him up. But if I say, by the way, the car's uninsured, you're going to walk 3 blocks. You're not going to drive. You know why? You live your life normally in Boston or in London or wherever. Why? Because you know that, God forbid, if there's a Hitler version 2.0 that rises tomorrow, you'll have where to go. If a Hitler version 2 comes to London, you guys will go to Manchester. He comes to Manchester, you guys will fly to New York. Comes to New York, you guys will fly to Boca. He comes to Boca, you guys will fly to LA, right? He comes to LA, you guys will fly to New Zealand. But if he comes all the way hunting Jews down in New Zealand, where will you go? Where will you go? You guys go to Israel, right? How scary is it if there is no Israel, huh? If your insurance policy is gone. What a scary life that would be, wouldn't it? Eytan Rund in 1923, before we had a Jewish state, what does he write? He writes, we need there to be what? A bomb shelter, if you'd like to call it in Herzl's words. A bomb shelter. We need there to be an Israel. I'm not telling you all to make Aliyah. I don't think that. But do we need there to be an Israel, yes or no? Do I live my life normally in Boston because I know deep inside that if I need to, there's an Israel? Yes or no? When a guy from the Shaddad gets drafted to Shaddad, the Air Force Commando, and he swears duty in Masada, they're not trying to say when hardship comes, you commit suicide. What are they trying to say? Do you need there to be an Israel? You need to die? Pal, die. I can't afford not to have this country. By the way, I'm going to say something annoying. You guys ready? If this country has an obligation towards you, you have an obligation towards it. Or in other words, is there a free lunch or is there a free insurance policy? I don't think you can not pay your premium payments and then come after you dent your car and come to the insurance company and say, I'll be a nice boy from now on I'll pay my premiums. Correct? You have to pay a day before. Your premiums could be, okay, I'll be a lone soldier, okay, I'll make Aliyah, okay, I'll donate money to Israel and I'll be rich, okay, I'll advocate for Israel on Facebook or Instagram or next year in Michigan University. I don't care what your premiums are. I don't care. I don't care. But I do ask. The reason why Messiah became important is what it symbolized, not about the past. It's in a way about what? About the future. And it's about what our obligation is towards it. Do we have to have an Israel? If the answer is yes, then what do we do to ensure that in 50 years' time it's going to be there? Okay? And if you're so sure of yourself, I have to say this. Our lovely, beautiful country Israel twice had Jewish country, Jewish sovereignty, and we lost this country twice before. So don't tell me it can't happen tomorrow. It happened twice already. Now it wants to happen twice. Correct? If we're going to be passive about it, I don't know if Israel's going to be of your grandchildren, unless we really get to work and really make it happen. What I tried doing in this past hour was to come and say, well, if I ask you from now on, how old are you? The answer I don't want to hear is 18 or 19. The answer I want to hear is thousands. You're part of something very, very big. And if you realize that, then it's very, very, very empowering. You guys aren't just 19. You're something much, 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 much greater than that. And the more you understand that, and the more empowering. It's like having a $50 million check in your back pocket. Wouldn't it be a shame not to check? Okay? So that's what I tried doing the past hour. I'm going to wish you guys a mamash happy Purim. I'm going to say thank you very, very, very much. And you guys all stayed awake, which is really weird. You guys can go steigen
Wow.
You guys come buy soup for me. Thank you.